As we delve deeper into the mysteries of the Maya civilization, it is not uncommon for alternative theories and speculations to arise. One such theory suggests a potential connection between the Maya and the Anunnaki, a race of extraterrestrial beings from ancient Mesopotamian mythology. According to some proponents of this theory, the Anunnaki may have visited Earth in the distant past, sharing their knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and architecture with the Maya and other ancient civilizations. Welcome to Life's Biggest Questions. Now let's continue this journey, shall we? As we explore the architectural marvels of ancient civilizations, it becomes evident that there is a fascinating link between the pyramids of Egypt and the Mayan temples of Mesoamerica. Although separated by vast distances and distinct cultural backgrounds, these magnificent structures share several intriguing similarities that continue to captivate the curiosity of scholars and enthusiasts alike. One of the most apparent connections between the pyramids and Mayan temples is their stepped pyramid form. Both the Egyptian pyramids, such as the Great Pyramid of Giza, and the Mayan temples, like the Temple of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza, feature a tiered design with a series of platforms leading to a summit. This distinct shape is thought to have served both practical and symbolic purposes, providing a stable base for the structure while also representing a stairway to the heavens, connecting the earthly realm with the divine. Another link between the pyramids and Mayan temples is their alignment with celestial phenomena. Both civilizations demonstrated a profound understanding of astronomy, and this knowledge was incorporated into the design and orientation of their monumental structures. For instance, the pyramids of Giza are aligned with the stars of Orion's belt, while the Temple of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza is designed to create a shadow serpent during the equinoxes. These alignments reflect the significance of celestial events in the religious and cultural beliefs of both the ancient Egyptians and the Maya. The construction techniques employed by both the Egyptians and the Maya also share some similarities. While the specific methods and materials used by each civilization were distinct, both cultures relied on locally available resources such as limestone to create their monumental structures. Additionally, both the Egyptians and the Maya developed ingenious methods for transporting and placing massive stone blocks, allowing them to create some of the most iconic architectural wonders of the ancient world. The Maya civilization's astronomical prowess extended well beyond the creation of the long count calendar. Their impressive understanding of celestial movements allowed them to track the cycles of the moon, Venus, and other celestial bodies with exceptional accuracy. The Maya even developed sophisticated methods for predicting solar and lunar eclipses. Their complex calendar system, which included the long count calendar, the Tzolk'in, and the Hab, is indicative of the Maya's profound connection to the cosmos. These calendars, when interlinked, provided the Maya with a comprehensive method for tracking both sacred and secular time, and they were used to plan religious ceremonies, agricultural activities, and other essential aspects of Mayan life. While there is no concrete evidence to support this claim, the idea of ancient astronauts continues to captivate the imagination and fuel the search for further connections between the Maya and the cosmos. However, it is crucial to recognize that the Maya civilization's impressive achievements are the result of their own ingenuity and dedication to understanding the natural world around them. As we continue to explore the world of the Mayan pyramids, we are reminded of the remarkable capabilities of human civilizations and their unyielding pursuit of knowledge. The significance of the ball court in Mayan society cannot be understated. These architecturally impressive structures were often built at the heart of Mayan cities, serving not only as venues for the ritualistic ball games, but also as social and political centers where people would gather to witness the spectacle. The design of the ball court varied between cities, but most shared some common features. A typical ball court consisted of an elongated, parallel-walled playing field, flanked by sloping walls that allowed the ball to rebound back into the field. Stone rings, sometimes adorned with intricate carvings, were mounted high on the walls, presenting a challenging target for the players. The ball game played in these courts, known as pits, held deep religious and symbolic significance for the Maya. The game was believed to be a reenactment of the mythological battle between the hero twins and the lords of the underworld, as recounted in the Popol Vuh, a sacred text of the Maya. By participating in the game, the players were reenacting this cosmic struggle between the forces of life and death, ensuring the continued balance of the universe. The stakes of these games were incredibly high. The players, often members of the elite, would compete not only for prestige and social standing, but also in some cases for their very lives. It is believed that in certain instances, the losing team, or even the captain of the losing team, could be subjected to human sacrifice. This brutal practice further underscores the deep connection between sport, religion, and the maintenance of cosmic order in Mayan society. The ball court and the game of pits are prime examples of the intricate web of connections that permeated Mayan culture, linking architecture, sport, and religious beliefs in a complex tapestry. The Mayan civilization's construction techniques were highly advanced for their time, employing ingenious methods and materials that allowed them to create some of the most iconic architectural marvels of the ancient world. The Mayan temples, with their distinct stepped pyramid form, were built using locally available materials such as limestone, and were often adorned with intricate carvings and stucco reliefs that depicted scenes from mythology, history, and daily life. One of the key features of Mayan construction was the use of the corbel arch, a false arch technique that enabled the builders to create vaulted ceilings and passageways without the need for traditional arches or domes. The corbel arch was formed by gradually overlapping layers of stones on either side of a passageway, with each successive layer projecting slightly inward until the layers met at the top, creating a vaulted ceiling. This technique allowed for the construction of impressive interior spaces, while using relatively simple construction methods and materials. In addition to the corbel arch, the Maya were known for their skill in creating massive stone platforms upon which their temples and other structures were built. These platforms were constructed using a technique known as cellular masonry, in which a series of stone cells or compartments were filled with earth and rubble, creating a solid, stable base for the structures above. The layout and orientation of Mayan temples were often influenced by the civilization's deep understanding of astronomy and celestial alignments. Many temples were designed to align with specific celestial events, such as solstices, equinoxes, and the rise and set of specific stars or constellations. This integration of astronomy into architecture further underscores the profound connection between the Mayas' spiritual beliefs and their understanding of the cosmos. The Mayan temples were not only architectural masterpieces, but also served important religious, political, and social functions. They often housed sacred relics, served as the burial sites for rulers and elites, and were the focal points for ceremonies and rituals that were central to the life of the Maya. The construction techniques employed by the Maya, along with their skillful integration of art, architecture, and astronomy, have left us with a rich and enduring legacy that continues to captivate and inspire those who seek to unravel the mysteries of this ancient civilization. The collapse of the Maya civilization remains one of the most intriguing puzzles in the study of ancient cultures. Between the 8th and 9th centuries CE, the once great Mayan cities were gradually abandoned, and the civilization that had flourished for centuries began to decline. Scholars have proposed various theories to explain this collapse, with factors such as overpopulation, warfare, disease, and environmental degradation potentially playing a role. One of the most widely accepted theories attributes the collapse of the Maya civilization to a combination of environmental and societal factors. Prolonged periods of drought and climate change would have put immense pressure on the Maya's agricultural system, leading to food shortages and social unrest. As the population grew, the need for intensive agriculture would have led to widespread deforestation and soil erosion, exacerbating the effects of climate change and further straining the civilization's resources. In addition to these environmental challenges, the Maya civilization was also plagued by internal strife and warfare. The competing city-states were often embroiled in conflicts over resources, territory, and political power. As the environmental conditions deteriorated, these conflicts likely intensified, further destabilizing the region and contributing to the decline of the Maya. Another contributing factor to the collapse of the Maya civilization may have been the spread of disease. While the specific diseases that may have affected the Maya are not known, it is likely that the crowded urban centers, combined with the stress of environmental and social pressures, would have created conditions ripe for the spread of infectious diseases. Epidemics could have decimated the population and further weakened the already fragile society. The collapse of the Maya civilization serves as a poignant reminder of the complex interplay between environmental, social, and political factors that can contribute to the decline of a once great culture. As we continue to study the mysteries of the Maya and their remarkable achievements, we gain valuable insights into the resilience, adaptability, and fragility of human civilizations. And we are reminded of the need to balance our pursuit of progress with a respect for the delicate balance of the natural world upon which we depend. Ancient Japan, with its rich history and culture, has fascinated us for centuries. Among the most iconic figures from this time are the samurai, an elite warrior class who lived by a strict code of honor and discipline. Today we're going to explore the unique traditions and lifestyle of the samurai, delving into what it meant to be a samurai in ancient Japan. We'll also take a look at the remarkable engineering and architectural innovations of the time, along with other intriguing aspects of ancient Japanese society. So let's step back in time and immerse ourselves in the world of ancient Japan. Welcome to Life's Biggest Questions. Now let's continue. To delve deeper into the world of the samurai, let's first take a look at the broader historical context of ancient Japan. The Heian period, 794–1185 CE, marked a significant turning point for Japan, with the establishment of the imperial capital in Kyoto, then called Heian-kyo, and the flourishing of the arts and literature. It was also during this time that the samurai emerged as a distinct warrior class, protecting the interests of their noble patrons and playing a crucial role in the power struggles that shaped Japan's political landscape. As Japan moved into the Kamakura, 1185–1333 CE, and Muromachi, 1336–1573 CE periods, the role of the samurai continued to evolve. The establishment of the first shogunate, or military government, in Kamakura marked the beginning of a new era, where the samurai class held significant political power. This shift in power dynamics set the stage for the rise of prominent samurai clans, such as the Taira, Minamoto, and later, the Ashikaga. The samurai's role in society extended far beyond the battlefield. As members of the ruling class, they were expected to be well-versed in poetry, literature, and the arts. The tale of Genji, often regarded as the world's first novel, was written during the Heian period by Lady Murasaki Shikibu, and was widely read and appreciated among the samurai class. This emphasis on cultural refinement set the samurai apart from other warrior classes throughout history, illustrating the unique blend of martial prowess and intellectual pursuits that characterized the samurai way of life. In addition to their martial and cultural roles, the samurai also played an essential part in shaping Japan's legal system. The development of the Goseibai Shikimoku, or the Formulary of Adjudications, in 1232 during the Kamakura period was a crucial step in codifying the laws and practices that governed samurai society. This legal code established a set of principles that guided the samurai's conduct both on and off the battlefield, and further reinforced the importance of Bushido in the daily lives of these elite warriors. The world of the samurai was steeped in tradition, with various unique customs and rituals shaping their daily lives. These practices were not only integral to the samurai's personal growth and development, but also served to strengthen the bonds within their communities and reinforce their commitment to the principles of Bushido. One such tradition was the practice of meditation, which allowed samurai to cultivate mental clarity, self-discipline, and emotional resilience. By developing their ability to remain focused and present in the face of adversity, samurai warriors were able to maintain a heightened sense of awareness on the battlefield and make strategic decisions under pressure. In addition to meditation, the samurai also engaged in rigorous physical training, known as keiko, which included martial arts disciplines such as kendo, kyudo, and jujitsu. These practices not only honed the samurai's physical prowess, but also reinforced the spiritual and mental aspects of their training. The concept of mushin, or no mind, was particularly important in these disciplines, as it encouraged the samurai to act instinctively and without hesitation in the heat of battle. Another fascinating samurai tradition was the practice of ikebana, or Japanese flower arrangement. This art form emphasized the harmonious arrangement of flowers, branches, and other natural elements, fostering a deep appreciation for nature and its inherent beauty. For the samurai, the practice of ikebana was more than just a creative outlet. It was a means of cultivating a sense of balance and tranquility, which was essential to their success as warriors. Samurai also had a unique relationship with poetry, particularly the traditional Japanese form known as tanka. Composed of 5 lines with a syllable pattern of 57577, tanka poetry was a means for samurai to express their thoughts and emotions in a concise and elegant manner. In many cases, samurai would engage in friendly poetry competitions, known as yuta awais, as a way of honing their literary skills and fostering camaraderie among their peers. The practice of yabusame, or horseback archery, was another unique samurai tradition that required great skill, concentration, and discipline. The samurai would train rigorously to develop the ability to shoot accurately while riding at high speeds, demonstrating their mastery of both horsemanship and archery. Yabusame events were often held as ceremonial demonstrations, with samurai showcasing their prowess in front of their lords and fellow warriors. The samurai were renowned for their mastery of various weapons, each with its unique characteristics and uses on the battlefield. While the katana is perhaps the most iconic of these weapons, samurai were also skilled in the use of a range of other arms, which played an essential role in their martial prowess. One such weapon was the yumi, a traditional Japanese longbow, which was a key component of the samurai's arsenal. The yumi was asymmetric, with a lower grip to accommodate shooting from horseback. Archery was considered a highly honorable skill, and samurai trained rigorously to become expert marksmen, able to hit targets with incredible accuracy even at long distances. Another notable weapon was the naginata, a polearm with a curved blade at the end. The naginata was particularly effective in close combat situations, allowing the wielder to strike with considerable force while maintaining a safe distance from their opponent. This weapon was also popular among samurai women, who were trained in its use for self-defense and to protect their homes in times of conflict. Samurai also employed the use of the tanto, a short dagger used primarily for close-quarters combat and in ritual suicide or seppuku. The tanto was often carried alongside the katana, providing the samurai with a versatile secondary weapon when needed. The armor worn by samurai was meticulously crafted to provide maximum protection without sacrificing mobility. The design of this armor evolved over time, reflecting changes in warfare and the specific needs of the samurai class. Early samurai armor, known as o-yoroi, was characterized by large boxy cuirasses and helmets, adorned with intricate ornamentation. However, as warfare shifted toward more infantry-based combat, the armor design changed to become more flexible and lightweight, resulting in the development of the domaru and later, the tosei-gusoku. Samurai armor was typically made from a combination of materials including iron, leather, and silk, which were carefully layered and laced together to create a highly effective, protective garment. The helmet, or kabuto, was a particularly important component of the samurai's armor, often featuring elaborate crests and decorations that signified the wearer's rank and family lineage. One striking aspect of samurai armor was its aesthetic appeal. Each piece of armor was carefully crafted and often adorned with intricate designs, reflecting the wearer's personal taste and status. This attention to detail extended even to the smallest components, such as the fittings on the sword scabbard, which were often made from precious metals and featured intricate carvings and inlays. Ancient Japan was home to a wealth of engineering and architectural innovations, which have left a lasting impact on the nation's landscape and cultural identity. These advances not only demonstrated the ingenuity and resourcefulness of the Japanese people, but also played a crucial role in shaping the nation's political, economic, and social development. One of the most iconic architectural achievements of ancient Japan was the construction of castles, which served as the fortified residences of powerful samurai lords. Japanese castle design was heavily influenced by the needs of the samurai class, with a focus on defensive capabilities and adaptability to the nation's varied terrain. Japanese castles were typically built on strategic hilltops, surrounded by a series of concentric walls and moats to provide multiple layers of defense. The central keep, or tenshu, was the heart of the castle, housing the lord's living quarters and serving as a symbol of his authority. Castles were designed to make use of the natural landscape for defense, incorporating elements such as cliffs, rivers, and ravines to create a formidable fortress. One unique feature of Japanese castle design was the use of stone foundations, which supported the wooden structures above. These foundations, known as ishiotoshi, were carefully constructed using large, irregularly shaped stones, which were expertly fitted together without the use of mortar. This technique allowed the foundations to flex and shift during earthquakes, providing greater stability and resilience to these wooden structures. Ancient Japan was also home to a number of impressive religious structures, such as the Todaiji Temple in Nara. This temple, which houses the world's largest bronze statue of the Buddha, was constructed in the 8th century using a unique method of interlocking wooden beams known as kanawatsuge. This technique allowed the massive structure to be built without the use of nails, creating a flexible and earthquake-resistant framework that has stood the test of time. Japanese gardens were another area where engineering and architectural ingenuity were on display. These carefully designed spaces were intended to evoke a sense of tranquility and harmony with nature, often incorporating elements such as ponds, bridges, and carefully placed rocks to create a balanced and visually appealing landscape. The use of shakkei, or borrowed scenery, was a key concept in Japanese garden design, as it allowed the garden to incorporate distant natural features, such as mountains or trees, into the overall composition. The ancient Japanese were also skilled in the construction of wooden bridges, which were essential for traversing the nation's many rivers and streams. One notable example is the Kintai Bridge, which was built in the 17th century and features a series of 5 wooden arches. This unique design allowed the bridge to withstand floods and other natural disasters, while also providing an aesthetically pleasing focal point for the surrounding landscape. One interesting aspect of ancient Japan was the development of its writing system. The Japanese language initially had no written form, but with the introduction of Chinese characters known as kanji in the 4th century, Japan began to develop a unique writing system. Over time, 2 phonetic scripts, hiragana and katakana, emerged, allowing for greater flexibility and expression in written Japanese. This combination of kanji, hiragana, and katakana formed the basis of the Japanese writing system, which is still in use today. The Noh theater is another fascinating aspect of ancient Japanese culture. Noh is a form of classical Japanese drama that combines music, dance, and drama in a highly stylized and ritualized manner. Originating in the 14th century, Noh plays often feature supernatural themes and explore the boundaries between the mortal and spiritual realms. The performances are characterized by their slow, deliberate movements and the use of intricately carved wooden masks, which serve to enhance the actors' expressions and convey deep emotions. In the realm of cuisine, ancient Japan developed a unique culinary tradition that emphasized simplicity, seasonality, and an appreciation for natural flavors. The foundation of Japanese cuisine is based on the principle of ichiju sansai, which translates to 1 soup, 3 dishes. This concept revolves around the idea of a balanced meal, consisting of a soup, a main dish, usually fish or meat, and 2 side dishes accompanied by rice and pickles. This principle is still at the heart of Japanese cuisine today, emphasizing harmony and balance in both flavor and presentation. Gladiators, the legendary warriors of ancient Rome, have stolen our imagination for centuries. But how much do we really know about these fighters and the world they inhabited? Today we're going to explore the lesser-known aspects of gladiators' lives, from the myth of the thumbs up and thumbs down to the diverse backgrounds and unique types of gladiators. We'll dive into the intricacies of their training, the high-stakes games they participated in, and the surprising social status they could achieve. Finally, we'll uncover the truth about what happened to gladiators after they left the arena, so let's embark on this journey right now. Welcome to Life's Biggest Questions. To truly understand the gladiators, we need to go back to their origins. The first recorded gladiatorial games took place in 264 BCE, but what prompted the Romans to start organizing these brutal events? The concept of gladiatorial combat can be traced back to the Etruscans, an ancient civilization that predated Rome in the Italian peninsula. The Etruscans held funeral games to honor their deceased warriors, with the belief that the spilling of blood would purify the deceased's soul and help them transition to the afterlife. When Rome conquered the Etruscans, they adopted this practice, and the gladiatorial games were born. Initially, these games were privately funded, and only the elite could organize them. Over time, the games became larger and more frequent, with the Roman state taking over the organization and funding. As their popularity grew, the games transformed into a form of mass entertainment, drawing massive crowds and becoming a symbol of Roman culture. The gladiators themselves came from a diverse range of backgrounds. Many were slaves or prisoners of war, forced into the arena to fight for their lives. However, not all gladiators were forced to fight. Some free men willingly chose this path, either due to a lack of other opportunities or to seek the fame and fortune that successful gladiators could achieve. There were even instances of high-born individuals, such as disgraced aristocrats or bankrupt nobles, becoming gladiators to restore their reputation or settle their debts. In addition to the male gladiators, there were also female gladiators, known as gladiatrix or female gladiator. Although they were not as common as their male counterparts, these women fought in the arena with just as much skill and ferocity. Their presence challenged societal norms and added another layer of intrigue to the already world of gladiatorial combat. Gladiator training was a rigorous and demanding process. Aspiring gladiators entered specialized schools called ludi, where they were placed under the supervision of a lanista, a gladiator trainer and manager. The lanista was responsible for the gladiators' well-being, training, and eventual participation in the games. In these schools, gladiators trained for hours each day, focusing on strength, agility, and endurance. They learned various combat techniques, how to handle different weapons, and developed strategies to counter the unique fighting styles of other gladiator types. In addition to physical training, gladiators were also taught discipline, obedience, and the importance of putting on a good show for the audience. The ludi varied in size and prestige, with some being small, local schools, and others being massive, state-funded institutions. The most famous gladiatorial school was the Ludus Magnus in Rome. It was the largest of the 4 gladiatorial schools in the city and was connected to the Colosseum by an underground tunnel. This allowed gladiators to enter the arena without being seen by the audience, heightening the suspense and anticipation. Life in a ludus was harsh and unforgiving. Gladiators lived in cramped shared quarters and were subject to strict rules and discipline. Despite the challenging conditions, gladiators were well-fed and received medical care from skilled doctors who specialized in treating combat-related injuries. This ensured that the gladiators were in top physical condition and ready for their next battle. During their time in the ludus, gladiators were often divided into groups based on their skill level and experience. New recruits, known as octorati, trained separately from the more experienced fighters. As they improved and demonstrated their prowess, they would be promoted within the ranks and eventually earn the chance to fight in the arena. The ultimate goal for every gladiator was to gain enough victories and fame to earn their freedom, a prize known as the rudis. This wooden sword symbolized a gladiator's release from their obligation to fight and marked the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. The world of Roman gladiators was diverse, with many different types of fighters, each with their own unique fighting styles, weapons, and armor. This diversity made the gladiatorial games even more thrilling for the spectators, as they eagerly awaited the exciting matchups and unpredictability of the battles. Let's take a closer look at some of the most famous types of gladiators. This type of gladiator was armed with a gladius, short sword, and a large rectangular scutum, shield. They wore a helmet with a distinctive fish-shaped crest and a visor to protect their face. Murmillos were often pitted against other heavily armed gladiators, such as the secutor or the hoplomachus. The retiarius was unique among gladiators due to their choice of weapons. They fought with a trident and a net, which they used to ensnare their opponents before striking with the trident. They were lightly armored, wearing only an arm guard and a shoulder guard, allowing them to rely on speed and agility. Their typical opponents were heavily armed gladiators like the murmillo or secutor. This gladiator type was inspired by the Thracians, a group of warriors from the Balkans. The Thracians fought with a short, curved sword called a sika and a small rectangular shield. They wore a helmet with a distinctive griffin crest and leg greaves for protection. Thracian gladiators were commonly matched against the murmillo or hoplomachus. Modeled after Greek hoplites, the hoplomachus was equipped with a spear, a short sword, and a small round shield. They wore a helmet with a small crest and plume along with arm and leg guards. Their opponents were often the murmillo or the Thracians. Designed specifically to fight the retiarius, the secutor was a heavily armored gladiator. They wielded a gladius and a large rectangular shield, and wore a helmet with a smooth, rounded shape to prevent the retiarius net from catching. Their armor and weaponry were similar to the mamilos, but their role in the arena was tailored to countering the retiarius' unique fighting style. Though not traditional gladiators, the bestiarii fought against wild animals in the arena. They were often criminals or prisoners who were sentenced to fight beasts as a form of punishment. However, some bestiarii were skilled animal trainers who voluntarily entered the arena, using their knowledge of animal behavior to defeat their opponents and entertain the crowds. These are just a few examples of the many types of gladiators who fought in ancient Rome. The variety of fighting styles, weapons, and armor created a complex and dynamic environment in the arena, where the outcome of each battle was never certain. This diversity, along with the bravery and skill of the gladiators, contributed to the enduring fascination with these warriors and the games in which they fought. While the life of a gladiator was fraught with danger and uncertainty, those who found success in the arena could achieve a level of fame and fortune that few others in ancient Rome could match. Despite the stigma attached to being a gladiator, especially for those who were slaves or prisoners, a successful gladiator could rise above their circumstances and attain a high social status that was both alluring and lucrative. A victorious gladiator would often receive financial rewards in addition to the adulation of the crowd. As their fame grew, so too did their earning potential. Successful gladiators could be paid handsomely for their performances, with some even receiving sponsorship deals from wealthy patrons or business owners who sought to capitalize on their popularity. Gladiators' fame also extended to their personal lives, as they became objects of fascination and desire for both men and women. They were often depicted in artwork, such as frescoes and mosaics, and their exploits were commemorated in inscriptions and poetry. The adoration they received could sometimes even translate into political influence, with powerful individuals seeking to associate themselves with these popular figures. However, it's essential to recognize that this high social status was not guaranteed for all gladiators, and it hinged on their success in the arena. Those who struggled or failed to win the favor of the crowd often faced a life of hardship and an untimely passing. For a gladiator, the risks were high, but the potential rewards were just as great. Now let's talk about the thumbs up and thumbs down myth. Contrary to popular belief, these gestures weren't used to decide a defeated gladiator's fate. Instead, a raised thumb meant mercy, while a turned thumb indicated death. It's fascinating how this misconception has persisted throughout history and even made its way into modern pop culture. The gladiator games, known as munera, were a central part of Roman entertainment and culture, showcasing the strength and skill of these warriors while providing a spectacle for the masses. Held in large arenas across the empire, the most famous of which was the Colosseum in Rome, these games were grand, elaborate events that captured the attention of the entire city. A typical day at the games would begin with a morning session called the Venatio, which featured wild animal hunts and fights. Exotic animals from across the empire, such as lions, tigers, bears, and elephants, were brought in to face off against each other, or against specially trained fighters known as bestiarii. These events demonstrated Rome's power and wealth, as they showcased the vast reach of the empire and its ability to control nature. In the afternoon, the main event of the day would commence, the gladiatorial battles. Gladiators with varying fighting styles, weapons, and armor would face off against each other in exciting, unpredictable matches. The crowd would cheer for their favorite fighters and place bets on the outcomes, making the atmosphere in the arena electric. Wealthy individuals or politicians known as aediles sponsored the games as a way to gain public favor and demonstrate their wealth and power. These sponsors would pay for the gladiators, the animals, and even the lavish spectacles that accompanied the games, such as reenactments of famous battles or naval engagements in flooded arenas. The more impressive the games, the more prestige the sponsor could garner. And this often led to an escalating competition among the elite to host the most spectacular games possible. As the Roman Empire began to decline, the gladiator games also started to lose their prominence. The costs of hosting the games became increasingly difficult to justify, and public sentiment towards the violence of the games began to shift. Eventually, the games were banned by the Emperor Honorius in 404 CE, marking the end of an era in Roman entertainment and culture. Finally, let's talk about what happened when a gladiator retired. Some were granted a special tombstone, known as a gladiator's epitaph, to honor their achievements. These tombstones often included details about their career, such as the number of victories and the types of opponents they defeated. Retirement marked the end of a dangerous yet prestigious career for these warriors. And there you have it. The lives of Roman gladiators were far more complex and nuanced than we often realize. Through our exploration of their unique fighting styles, the intensity of their training, and the spectacle of the games themselves, we've gained a deeper understanding of these legendary warriors. Furthermore, we've uncovered how gladiators could rise to high social status and even retire from their brutal careers, a testament to their adaptability and resilience. As we continue to learn more about the past, it's essential to challenge our preconceived notions and appreciate the rich and intricate tapestry of history. El Dorado, the legendary city of gold, has stolen treasure hunters and dreamers' imaginations for centuries. But what do we really know about this fabled city? Was it a real place, or merely a myth born from the vivid imagination of those seeking fortune and adventure? In today's video, we'll dive into the history, legends, and possible origins of El Dorado and its allure. Welcome to Life's Biggest Questions. Now, let's continue on about the lost city of gold. The legend of El Dorado dates back to the 16th century, when Spanish conquistadors arrived in South America in search of gold and riches. These explorers had been enticed by tales of a distant city overflowing with gold and unimaginable wealth. The name El Dorado itself means the golden one in Spanish, and the idea of such a city captured the imaginations of those seeking fortune and adventure. In reality, the legend of El Dorado has its roots in the customs and rituals of the indigenous Muisca people who inhabited present-day Colombia. Their society was deeply religious and centered around the worship of various deities. In a sacred ceremony called El Dorado, the new Muisca ruler, or Zipa, would cover himself in gold dust and dive into Lake Guatavita. As he submerged himself, his attendants would throw gold and precious stones into the lake as offerings to the gods. It is believed that the Spanish explorers who heard of this ritual mistakenly conflated the ceremony with the existence of a physical city brimming with gold. As the legend of El Dorado spread, it evolved and grew more elaborate. Some versions of the story claimed that the city's buildings and temples were made of solid gold, while others described its inhabitants as wearing golden clothing and jewelry. These fantastical tales further fueled the European explorers' desire to find and conquer the fabled city, leading to numerous expeditions and countless lives lost in the quest for El Dorado. The legend of El Dorado was not confined to South America, as the myth quickly spread to Europe, where it captured the imaginations of writers, poets, and artists. El Dorado came to represent the ultimate prize, an unattainable treasure that symbolized the dreams and aspirations of those who sought wealth, power, and glory. The search for El Dorado was a dangerous and arduous undertaking, as countless explorers ventured into uncharted territories with little more than their dreams of untold riches to guide them. Many expeditions faced seemingly insurmountable obstacles such as treacherous terrain, hostile indigenous tribes, and diseases to which they had no immunity. One of the most famous explorers in the search for El Dorado was the German conquistador and geographer Philipp von Hutten. He led several expeditions into the dense jungles of Venezuela and Colombia in the early 16th century, following reports of a city filled with gold. Hutten and his men faced immense challenges, including hunger, disease, and attacks from native tribes. Despite his best efforts, he never found the elusive city of gold, and his expeditions ultimately led to his capture and execution by hostile tribes. Gonzalo Pizarro, the half-brother of the famous conquistador Francisco Pizarro, also embarked on a mission to find El Dorado in the 1540s. He led a massive expedition consisting of over 300 Spaniards and thousands of indigenous slaves into the depths of the Amazon rainforest. The journey was fraught with danger and hardship as the expedition members faced torrential rains, disease, and dwindling food supplies. Many perished, and Pizarro ultimately returned to Peru empty-handed. Sir Walter Raleigh, an English explorer, courtier, and writer, was another prominent figure in the search for El Dorado. He led 2 expeditions to South America in the late 16th and early 17th centuries, searching for the legendary city in present-day Guyana and Venezuela. Although Raleigh never found El Dorado, his accounts of his travels were widely read in Europe and fueled further interest in the legend. Throughout the centuries, numerous other explorers and treasure hunters attempted to locate the fabled City of Gold, each one driven by the tantalizing promise of wealth and glory. However, despite their determination and courage, none were ever able to find El Dorado, and the legend remained just that, a legend. The legend of El Dorado had far-reaching consequences not just for the explorers who sought it, but also for the indigenous peoples of South America and the European powers vying for control over the continent. The relentless pursuit of gold and other riches had profound effects on the social, political, and cultural landscape of the region, with repercussions that are still felt today. The colonization of South America was driven in large part by the desire for wealth and resources, as European powers sought to exploit the continent's vast riches. The Spanish, in particular, were drawn to the region by the promise of El Dorado and the abundant gold that was said to lie within its borders. This lust for wealth led to the conquest of vast territories, the displacement and subjugation of indigenous peoples, and the establishment of the Spanish Empire as a dominant force in the region. In their quest for El Dorado, the European explorers often clashed with local tribes, leading to violent conflicts and the loss of countless lives on both sides. The introduction of European diseases, such as smallpox and measles, further decimated indigenous populations which had no immunity to these unfamiliar ailments. Entire cultures and societies were forever altered or destroyed as a result of the relentless pursuit of El Dorado and its fabled riches. The legend of El Dorado also served as a cautionary tale about the destructive power of greed and ambition. Many explorers became consumed by their desire for wealth and glory, sometimes at the expense of their own well-being and the lives of their comrades. The term El Dorado fever was coined to describe the madness that gripped those who became obsessed with finding the City of Gold, often leading them to make reckless and dangerous decisions. The impact of the El Dorado legend extended beyond the shores of South America, as it captured the imaginations of Europeans back home. The stories of vast riches and golden cities inspired generations of adventurers, writers, and artists, who used the myth as a symbol of human aspiration, exploration, and the pursuit of the unknown. The legend of El Dorado remains a powerful reminder of the lengths to which people will go in search of wealth, power, and the tantalizing promise of a better life. The legacy of El Dorado lives on, not just as a captivating tale of lost cities and hidden treasure, but also as a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the human spirit. The story of El Dorado has inspired countless books, films, and works of art that explore themes of ambition, exploration, and the pursuit of the unknown. The legend of El Dorado has also had a lasting impact on the fields of archaeology and anthropology. The search for the fabled city has led to the discovery of numerous pre-Columbian artifacts and ancient ruins throughout South America, providing valuable insights into the region's rich and diverse cultural history. These findings have expanded our understanding of the complex societies that once thrived in South America and have helped to debunk many of the misconceptions surrounding the El Dorado myth. In recent years, scientists and historians have used advanced technologies such as satellite imagery and ground-penetrating radar to study the region's past and uncover new clues about its ancient civilizations. These modern-day explorers continue the centuries-old quest for knowledge and understanding that was once driven by the pursuit of El Dorado and its legendary riches. Moreover, the legend of El Dorado has become a symbol of unattainable goals and the human propensity for dreaming big. It serves as a reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures are not physical riches, but rather the knowledge, experiences, and personal growth that come from pushing the boundaries of our understanding and venturing into the unknown. In popular culture, the legend of El Dorado has been adapted and reimagined in various forms, from the animated film The Road to El Dorado to video games like Uncharted Golden Abyss and Tomb Raider. These adaptations serve as a testament to the enduring appeal of the El Dorado myth and its ability to inspire creativity and wonder. Ultimately, the legacy of El Dorado transcends time and space as it continues to captivate the hearts and minds of dreamers, adventurers, and scholars alike. It is a story that reminds us of the power of imagination, the allure of the unknown, and the boundless potential that lies within each of us. Even in our technologically advanced age, the legend of El Dorado continues to captivate modern-day treasure hunters who are drawn to the tantalizing promise of hidden riches and lost artifacts. These intrepid explorers employ cutting-edge tools and techniques to delve deeper into the mysteries of the past and uncover new evidence about the origins of the El Dorado myth. Advances in technology, such as satellite imagery, remote sensing, and LIDAR, light detection and ranging, have allowed treasure hunters and archaeologists alike to explore previously inaccessible regions of South America. These innovative methods enable researchers to detect hidden structures, buried cities, and ancient roads beneath dense vegetation, providing valuable insights into the region's rich cultural history. Today's treasure hunters often work closely with archaeologists and historians, combining their shared passion for exploration and discovery with rigorous scientific methods. This collaboration has led to some groundbreaking discoveries, such as the identification of the ancient city of Ciudad Perdida in Colombia and the uncovering of numerous pre-Columbian artifacts throughout the Amazon basin. In addition to searching for physical treasures, modern-day treasure hunters also seek to unravel the intricate web of historical and cultural connections that link the El Dorado myth to the indigenous peoples of South America. By studying ancient texts, oral histories, and archaeological evidence, these researchers aim to piece together a more accurate and nuanced understanding of the societies that once flourished in the region and their interactions with European explorers. While the search for El Dorado in its literal sense may be a fruitless endeavor, the quest for knowledge and understanding about the history and cultures of South America is a treasure hunt in its own right. The discoveries made by these modern-day explorers not only shed light on the true nature of the El Dorado myth, but also enrich our understanding of the complex and diverse civilizations that once thrived in this fascinating part of the world. The spirit of El Dorado lives on in these modern-day treasure hunters, who continue to push the boundaries of exploration and discovery in pursuit of the unknown. Their passion and dedication serve as a testament to the enduring appeal of the El Dorado legend and the unquenchable human desire for adventure, knowledge, and the promise of hidden treasures yet to be found. Today we're embarking on a journey through time and space to explore the civilization of the Aztecs. This ancient empire left behind a legacy of incredible architecture, complex cultural practices, and tantalizing mysteries that continue to captivate our imaginations. But how much do we really know about the Aztecs? Were they connected to other ancient civilizations such as the Egyptians? Did they have any contact with extraterrestrial beings or the Anunnaki? Join me as we delve into the wonders of Aztec architecture, the theories surrounding their achievements, and the dramatic fall of this once mighty empire. Welcome to Life's Biggest Questions. Now that that's been said, let's continue on now. The Aztecs were a powerful and sophisticated civilization that rose to prominence in the 14th century in the region we now know as Mexico. Their architecture was both functional and symbolic, reflecting their religious beliefs, social structure, and artistic prowess. Let's delve deeper into the key features of Aztec architecture and the methods they employed to create these awe-inspiring structures. Aztec cities were meticulously planned, and their capital, Tenochtitlan, was no exception. Built on an island in Lake Texcoco, the city was designed with a grid pattern, featuring canals and causeways for efficient transportation and flood control. The city was divided into 4 main districts, each with its own central marketplace and ceremonial center. At the heart of Tenochtitlan lay the Sacred Precinct, a walled area containing temples, palaces, and public buildings. One of the most iconic structures in Aztec architecture was the Step Pyramid, which served as the primary temple for religious ceremonies and rituals. These pyramids were typically constructed using a core of adobe bricks, covered with cut stones or stucco, and adorned with intricate carvings and frescoes. The Templo Maya in Tenochtitlan was an enormous double pyramid dedicated to the gods Huitzilopochtli, the god of the sun and war, and Tlaloc, the god of rain and fertility. The Aztecs also built impressive palaces for their nobility and ruling class, which served as both residences and administrative centers. These palaces were often adorned with elaborate murals and sculptures, showcasing the skill and creativity of Aztec artisans. Ball courts were another common feature in Aztec cities, where the ritualistic ball game known as Olamalistli was played. These courts were built with high walls and sloping sides, with stone rings for scoring mounted on the walls. To construct their impressive architecture, the Aztecs relied on a combination of skilled labor, simple tools, and local materials. They used volcanic stone, such as basalt and andesite, which were abundant in the region, for their buildings. The stones were shaped using rudimentary tools made from harder materials like obsidian. The Aztecs also made use of wooden scaffolding and ramps to lift and maneuver the massive stones into place. While they didn't use the wheel or pulleys, their clever use of levers and ropes allowed them to move and position these heavy materials with remarkable precision. The incredible achievements of the Aztecs have led some to speculate about the possibility of outside influence or assistance. Let's take a closer look at the theories surrounding potential connections between the Aztecs and extraterrestrial beings, or the Anunnaki, a group of deities from ancient Mesopotamian mythology. Proponents of the ancient astronaut theory argue that extraterrestrials may have visited Earth in the distant past, sharing their advanced knowledge and technology with ancient civilizations like the Aztecs. They point to certain aspects of Aztec culture, such as their advanced understanding of astronomy and their detailed calendar system, as evidence of potential alien influence. The Aztec religion also plays a significant role in these theories, as their pantheon of gods included beings with supernatural powers and abilities. The Aztecs believed that their gods had the power to control the elements and influence human events, and some theorize that these gods may have been extraterrestrial beings, or even the Anunnaki, who are said to have shaped human civilization in Mesopotamian myths. Certain artifacts and artwork found in Aztec ruins have also fueled speculation about possible alien connections. Some carvings and sculptures depict humanoid figures with elongated skulls or what appear to be helmets, leading some to suggest that these might represent extraterrestrial beings. Other artifacts feature complex geometric patterns and designs that are strikingly similar to those found in other ancient cultures around the world, sparking theories about a shared extraterrestrial influence. While these theories are certainly intriguing and capture the imagination, it's important to note that there is no concrete evidence to support the idea that the Aztecs had contact with extraterrestrials or the Anunnaki. Many researchers argue that these theories overlook the ingenuity and resourcefulness of the Aztecs themselves, who were able to achieve remarkable feats of engineering and artistry without any outside assistance. In fact, many of the similarities between Aztec artifacts and those of other ancient cultures can be attributed to the concept of convergent evolution, in which different societies independently develop similar solutions to common challenges. While the possibility of alien or Anunnaki connections cannot be definitively ruled out, it's essential to recognize and appreciate the remarkable achievements of the Aztecs on their own merits. One of the most fascinating aspects of ancient architecture is the prevalence of pyramids across various cultures and regions, including the Aztecs in Mexico and the ancient Egyptians in Africa. These remarkable structures have led many to wonder about the possible connections between these civilizations and their shared architectural styles. Let's explore the similarities and differences between Aztec and Egyptian pyramids and consider the theories that attempt to explain these connections. Both the Aztecs and ancient Egyptians built step pyramids, featuring a series of stacked platforms that gradually decrease in size as they rise. The pyramids served as sacred sites for religious rituals, with temples or sanctuaries located at the top. However, the function and design of these pyramids differ in some key aspects. Egyptian pyramids, such as the Great Pyramid of Giza, were primarily used as tombs for pharaohs, while Aztec pyramids functioned as temples and platforms for religious ceremonies. The construction materials and techniques employed by the two civilizations also varied. Egyptian pyramids were built using massive limestone blocks, often weighing several tons, while Aztec pyramids were typically constructed from smaller adobe bricks covered with cut stones or stucco. Additionally, Egyptian pyramids featured smooth, sloping sides, whereas Aztec pyramids were characterized by their stepped design with terraces and staircases. So, what could explain the similarities between these two seemingly distinct cultures? One theory suggests that both civilizations may have been influenced by a common older source, such as the legendary lost continent of Atlantis or even extraterrestrial beings. However, there is little evidence to support these claims, and many researchers argue that the similarities can be attributed to the independent development of similar architectural styles in response to shared cultural and religious beliefs. Another theory proposes that ancient trade routes or cultural exchanges between the two civilizations may have facilitated the sharing of architectural ideas and techniques. While there is some evidence to suggest that ancient cultures such as the Olmecs in Mexico and the ancient Egyptians had indirect contact through trade networks, there is no concrete proof that these interactions led to the transmission of architectural styles. In conclusion, the similarities between Aztec and Egyptian pyramids are indeed fascinating, but the evidence for a direct connection between the two civilizations is limited. The shared architectural features may be the result of convergent evolution, as both cultures independently developed similar solutions to their religious and cultural needs. As we continue to study these incredible structures, it's crucial to appreciate the ingenuity and resourcefulness of both the Aztecs and ancient Egyptians in creating these architectural marvels that have stood the test of time. The Aztec Empire, which once dominated much of present-day Mexico, came to a sudden and dramatic end in the early 16th century. But what led to the collapse of this once thriving civilization? Let's delve into the factors that contributed to the fall of the Aztecs and the lasting impact of their decline. In 1519, the Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés arrived in Mexico with a small contingent of soldiers, aiming to explore and conquer new lands on behalf of the Spanish crown. He formed alliances with several indigenous tribes who were unhappy with Aztec rule, notably the Tlaxcalans, and this support was crucial in his campaign against the Aztecs. The first encounter between the Spanish and the Aztecs took place in Tenochtitlan, where the Aztec ruler Moctezuma II initially welcomed Cortés and his men. However, tensions soon escalated, and the Spanish took Moctezuma hostage in an attempt to control the city. This led to a series of conflicts known as the Siege of Tenochtitlan, which ultimately resulted in the destruction of the city and the death of Moctezuma. While the superior weapons and military tactics of the Spanish played a significant role in their victory over the Aztecs, another crucial factor was the introduction of European diseases, such as smallpox, which devastated the native population. The Aztecs had no immunity to these diseases, and the resulting epidemics killed millions of people, weakening the empire and making it easier for the Spanish to conquer. Following the fall of Tenochtitlan, the remaining Aztec territories were gradually absorbed into the Spanish colony of New Spain. The Spanish imposed their culture, religion, and language upon the indigenous people, effectively erasing many aspects of Aztec life. However, some elements of Aztec culture, such as their agricultural techniques and artistic traditions, were incorporated into the new colonial society. Despite the fall of the Aztec Empire, its influence can still be felt in modern times. Many aspects of Aztec culture have been preserved and integrated into the fabric of Mexican society. For example, the Nahuatl language, once spoken by the Aztecs, is still spoken by over 1 million people in Mexico today. The Aztec calendar, with its intricate system of tracking time and astronomical events, is another aspect of their culture that has endured. While it's no longer in widespread use, the calendar's beautiful artwork and symbolism continue to inspire artists and scholars alike. Moreover, the Aztecs' advanced agricultural techniques, such as the Chinampa system of floating gardens, have been recognized for their sustainability and productivity, with some modern-day farmers adopting these methods to cultivate crops. Additionally, the legend of the founding of Tenochtitlan, in which the Aztecs were guided by an eagle perched on a cactus holding a snake, is immortalized in the Mexican coat of arms and national flag, serving as a reminder of the nation's rich cultural heritage. The Aztecs were an extraordinary civilization that has left an indelible mark on the world. Their architectural and engineering achievements continue to amaze us, and theories surrounding their possible connections to other ancient cultures, extraterrestrials, or the Anunnaki only add to the intrigue. While the Aztec Empire may have fallen centuries ago, its legacy lives on in the modern world, enriching our understanding of the past and serving as a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the human spirit. And as always, thanks for watching.